Voters have about two opinions when it comes to Donald Trump. They either love him or completely disagree with him. The same can be said about celebrities. From a famous author to a 90s rap icon, here's what some stars are saying about the former president. There was a time when Donald Trump would consistently go on rants about celebrities on X, formerly known as Twitter. Sometimes, what he would have to say would barely be a blip on the media's radar, such as when he tweeted that Lady Gaga owed him a chunk of her wealth in 2012. But when he inserted himself into one of the biggest entertainment news stories of that same year, Kristen Stewart's cheating scandal, his tweet earned The Apprentice star a headline in The Hollywood Reporter. After Stewart got caught having an affair with director Rupert Sanders, Trump had some advice for her boyfriend at the time. He tweeted, "Robert Pattinson should not take back Kristen Stewart. She cheated on him like a dog and will do it again." In her 2024 Rolling Stone interview, Stewart expressed disbelief over Trump's decision to fire off multiple tweets about her love life, but said, "Of course, he had to weigh in on my tarring and feathering. He's such a little baby." At least some good came of Trump's fixation on Stewart's love life. The actress said that Trump's tweets came up in the Saturday Night Live writers' room when she hosted the show in 2017, and this inspired her to call him out during her opening monologue. She also came out during her monologue, telling the then president,
"I'm like so gay, dude."
Trump's sneaker line was brutally roasted on X, where there were suggestions that the shoes were part of a desperate cash grab to help the former president pay his accumulating legal costs. There were also jokes aplenty about the golden sneakers' quality, with one user predicting that they'll swiftly fall to pieces if worn. But rapper Fat Joe believed the Never Surrender high tops were a valuable addition to his sneaker collection. During an Instagram Live, the lean-back hitmaker revealed that he had bought a pair of the Trump-branded shoes, but assured his fans that he doesn't support the former president, saying, "I dislike Trump. I'm not voting for him. Not now, not never. But I'm a sneaker collector into the art, so I had to find these." He added that he didn't purchase his pair, which Trump was selling for $399 online before they sold out. He explained that an unidentified party gave them to him because he's such a huge sneakerhead. The comments section of Fat Joe's Instagram video was flooded with reactions from fans expressing their disappointment and dismay. Some commenters warned him that the gifted shoes were likely a publicity stunt meant to benefit Trump. One critic wrote, "Direct or indirect support of a man that hates us and has mocked our humanity for years is unforgivable. It hurts coming from one of rap's biggest icons." In a 2024 interview with The Times, Snoop Dogg explained why he had a change of heart and became a Trump supporter. The rapper told the outlet, "He has done only great things for me. He pardoned Michael Harris." One of Trump's final acts as president was to grant clemency to the Death Row Records co-founder who played an instrumental role in Snoop's career. In response, Snoop did more than just drop his former beef with Trump. He also kissed the ring. Snoop added, "I have nothing but love and respect for Donald Trump." This love fest followed years of Snoop criticizing Trump. When the rapper was asked why he aimed a toy gun at a Trump stand-in wearing clown makeup in his 2017 music video for Lavender, Nightfall Remix, the rapper told Billboard, "Nobody's dealing with the real issue with this f***ing clown as president." During a 2018 appearance on DJ Sus One's Sirius XM show, Snoop said of Trump supporters,
"If you like that, you motherfucking racist."
Snoop also explained that he only participated in Trump's Comedy Central roast because he was paid to do so. Forget the art of the deal. Trump has mastered the art of the transactional relationship when it comes to Snoop. Star Wars icon Mark Hamill can't use the Force to defeat Trump, but the former president might have a hard time holding his own against the actor in a war of words. Hamill is just as proficient at tweeting Trump takedowns as he is at wielding a lightsaber. In February 2024, Hamill weighed in when Trump picked an old hobby back up, tweeting about pop stars. But Trump used his own social media site, Truth Social, to broadcast just how nervous he was about the prospect of Taylor Swift endorsing Joe Biden for president. After the former president fired off a post suggesting that the singer owed him loyalty, Hamill quote-tweeted Swift's 2020 Biden endorsement with the words, "This tweet has aged remarkably well, especially the 'we will vote you out in November' part." Some Hamill fans probably read another February 2024 tweet in his beloved Joker voice. In response to the news that Trump had been ordered to cough up over $350 million in his fraud case, Hamill referenced a campaign promise that Trump didn't keep. He quipped, thought maybe he can get Mexico to pay for it.
And Mexico's going to pay for the wall.
And when Trump finished last out of all 45 U.S. presidents in the 2024 Presidential Greatness Project Expert Survey, Hamill brought the results to his followers' attention. He also delivered a blow to Trump's new shoe biz, writing, "In all fairness, this survey was conducted before he released those gold sneakers." Many musicians have slammed Trump for using their songs at his political events without consent, including the Rolling Stones and Neil Young. The Smiths guitarist Johnny Marr joined the chorus of angry artists in 2024 when he learned that Trump had played one of his band's songs, "Please, Please, Please, Let Me Get What I Want," during at least one campaign rally. Marr didn't politely beg Trump to let him get what he wanted, but instead let him know that he would be taking action to keep the Smiths' music off of his events playlist. In response to a video of the 1984 song being played at a South Dakota rally, Marr tweeted, "Ah, right, okay. I never in a million years would have thought this could come to pass. Consider this shut right down right now." Marr's former bandmate Morrissey hasn't shared his thoughts about the song's usage. Morrissey seems to share Trump's anti-immigrant views, but used to refer to the former president as Donald Thump on his now-defunct fan site, True to You. He wrote in 2016, "Thump's only achievement so far is in making Sarah Palin seem intelligent." Filmmaker Rob Reiner sounded the alarm about the far-reaching effects of a second Trump presidency in an interview with The Guardian. The All in the Family star expressed concern that inviting Trump back to the White House wouldn't just be bad for America, but could have a devastating impact on democracy worldwide. Reiner told the outlet, "Do we want to turn the country over to somebody like Donald Trump, who has said that he wants to destroy the Constitution, go after his political enemies, and turn America into an autocracy?" Reiner was possibly referencing a Truth Social post in which Trump called for the termination of parts of the Constitution. And regarding Reiner's claim that Trump will rule as an autocrat, the presumptive GOP presidential nominee did tell Sean Hannity that he'll spend the first day of his presidency behaving like a dictator.
He says, "You're not going to be a dictator, are you?" I said, no, other than day one.
Reiner often uses X to argue that keeping Joe Biden in office is the right move. He tweeted in March 2024, "I refuse to believe Americans would rather have a lying lunatic rapist whose brain has turned to mush and will destroy our democracy than a decent man who spent his life fighting to make things better for us." In February 2024, Trump took to Truth Social to plead his case before someone who holds a great deal of political power, Taylor Swift.
Let's say that I like Taylor's music about 25% less now, okay?
He tried to argue that Biden doesn't deserve her endorsement because he wasn't the president who passed the Music Modernization Act. That was Trump, who posted, "Swift can't be disloyal to the man who made her so much money." Streisand was astounded by Trump's brazen claim that Swift owes him and wrote in an X post, "This is what a dictator is like. He's really flipped his lid now." Streisand is one of Trump's most outspoken critics, and she frequently uses X to blast his behavior. She called him out for being a Vladimir Putin sycophant and bragging about the economy being better when he was president. Streisand also had plenty to say about E. Jean Carroll's 2024 defamation trial. She wrote on X, "Trump and his lawyer treat the law and courtroom decorum with the same contempt he treats election results." This was likely in response to reports about Trump laughing and talking during the proceedings. At one point, Judge Lewis Kaplan even threatened to kick him out of the courtroom, according to ABC News. Streisand celebrated when Carroll was awarded a hefty sum. Writing on X, she managed to accomplish the near impossible and shut Donald Trump up, and it cost Trump $88 million to do so far. George Lopez has often used comedy to criticize Trump's policies. His 2020 Netflix special, We'll Do It for Half, included a bit about the ex-president taking his sweet time building his promised border wall. The title of the special was inspired by a Trump joke that earned Lopez an interrogation by the Secret Service. In a since-deleted Instagram post, Lopez mentioned a report about an Iranian lawmaker offering a $3 million reward for Trump's assassination. The comedian then wrote, "We'll do it for half." He later told people, "When the Secret Service came to my house, I said, 'You took it as a threat. I took it as an estimate.'" Lopez eventually realized the situation was no laughing matter, but he didn't stop lambasting Trump. During a 2024 CNN interview, he explained that seeing Trump vilify undocumented immigrants inspired him to keep piping up about the ex-president's xenophobia. Lopez also said this about undocumented immigrants.
This country benefits from their work every day.
He shared that he dislikes how Trump uses migrants as a scapegoat for America's ills, adding that he's amazed at how acceptable Trump's racially charged rhetoric has become.
I don't think of him much as a president, and I think less of him as a man.
And of the possibility of another Trump presidency?
It's beneath what America has stood for.
In his 2024 Guardian interview, Rob Reiner noted that Trump benefits from Christian nationalism, even though he's likely never read a word of the Bible.
I'm proud to endorse and encourage you to get this Bible. We must make America pray again.
It raised a few eyebrows when Trump refused to share some of his favorite scripture during a 2015 Bloomberg interview, explaining,
"To me, that's very personal."
Trump's former attorney, Michael Cohen, also told The Atlantic that Trump considers evangelical Christian leaders nothing but hustlers. But Jon Voight doesn't just try to convince Christian voters that Trump is on their side in a 2024 campaign ad where he likens the 45th president to their Lord and Savior. In the Post, Voight says to potential voters, believe that the man that can help this nation, the one man that was ridiculed, destroyed as Jesus, Trump, can come back and save the American dream for all. The ad is heavy on biblical rhetoric, and in it, Voight also poses the question,
can we save our nation from the dark cloud that has been put upon our life streams?
According to the Midnight Cowboy star, Trump can. On X, some critics of the ad joked about Voight being the GOP's answer to Taylor Swift. It was also suggested that the actor's words were downright blasphemous. One reaction read, mouths full of scripture and hearts full of hate. Billy Baldwin made a prediction about Donald Trump 2 weeks into 2024. The actor wrote on X, Trump will lose the election. Trump will go to prison. Trump will die broke. That same month, Baldwin responded to a tweet from Donald Trump Jr. boasting that no one on Jeffrey Epstein's flight list had endorsed his dad. Bringing up the sex trafficker was a questionable move, since it's known that Donald used to pal around with him. In 2002, he even told New York Magazine that Epstein was a terrific guy. But while Baldwin did mention that Donald's name appears in Epstein's flight logs multiple times, this isn't the Trump history that he focused on in his response to Donald Jr.'s tweet. Instead, Baldwin reminded Trump Jr. that his dad cheated on his mom, Ivana, with Marla Maples. According to Baldwin, he witnessed Maples taking several calls from Donald during her affair with him. In a previous tweet, Baldwin had explained that he and Maples were in the same acting class and would run lines together at her place. He also suggested that Donald frequently called Maples because he was insecure. In other words, he didn't like the idea of Baldwin and Maples being alone together. Baldwin wrote in his tweet to Trump Jr., "You were only about 10 years old at this time, so perhaps you were not yet aware of what a disgusting pig and thief your father was." After Bud Light partnered with social media influencer Dylan Mulvaney for an Instagram campaign in 2023, some conservatives lost their minds. Their only issue seemed to be that Mulvaney was transgender. As a result, Mulvaney said she was ruthlessly bullied by angry transphobes. In a TikTok video, she also blasted Bud Light for not having her back.
For a company to hire a trans person and then not publicly stand by them is worse, in my opinion, than not hiring a trans person at all.
But Bud Light's silence did nothing to stifle the rage. Donald Trump supporter Kid Rock was so upset that he filmed a video of himself shooting at a bunch of boxes of Bud Light beer while wearing a MAGA hat. When he appeared on the Joe Rogan Experience in 2024, Kid Rock recounted how he stopped worrying and learned to love Bud Light again. He told Rogan that he had noticed Anheuser-Busch CEO Brendan Ball Whitworth standing behind him when he was chatting with Trump at a UFC match. Kid Rock then lowered his voice and alerted Trump to Whitworth's presence. He told Rogan,
and Trump's like, you want to go talk to him? Which in my mind, Trump said, you want to go with him? And I'm like, yes.
But rather than give the CEO a piece of their mind, Kid Rock and Trump started talking about hunting with Whitworth and arranged to all hang out together. The meeting went so well that Kid Rock even considered partnering with Bud Light. In 2012, musician John Mayer earned the distinction of becoming one of Trump's celebrity tweet subjects. He accomplished this by dating Katy Perry, whom Trump had just insulted on X. The star of The Apprentice wrote on the site, "Katy Perry is no bargain, but I don't like John Mayer. He dates and tells. Be careful, Katy. Just watch." Apparently, Mayer wasn't too offended by the warning. In a 2024 appearance on Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend, he actually complimented Trump's voice. However, Mayer wasn't suggesting that the former president should start serenading his fans with his own rendition of Your Body is a Wonderland. Instead, he thinks Trump could find work as a voiceover artist. Mayer said on the podcast, "If Donald Trump weren't saying the things he was saying and was saying things that were benign, he would have a lovely speaking voice. But if Trump were to ever narrate a children's book, Mayer might not buy it for his future kids." In 2017, he tweeted about how difficult it will be for him to someday describe to his children what living through the Trump presidency was like. He then attempted to do so by imagining a conversation with one of his non-existent offspring. Mayer wrote, "Okay, you know Keith, who pulls the legs off of bugs and gets detention for tripping people? Imagine Keith was our president, times 10. By now, Stephen King has likely penned enough anti-Trump tweets to fill an entire novel. On X, the Misery author called Trump Putin's running dog. He also used a food metaphor to question Trump's mental acuity, writing in January 2024, "The cheese appears to be slipping off Donald Trump's cracker." This tweet was a likely reference to a big gaffe Trump made during a New Hampshire campaign rally, in which the former president got the names of Nancy Pelosi and Nikki Haley mixed up. When talking about Pelosi, he said Haley's name instead.
Nikki Haley is in charge of security. We offered her 10,000 people.
Trump had also boasted about his performance on a test designed to detect symptoms of cognitive decline. At another New Hampshire campaign event, he told his supporters that some questions merely asked him to identify animals, but he assured the crowd that the test got increasingly difficult.
I said, give me a cognitive test just so we can, because you know what the standards were. And I aced it.
The same day Trump's failure to remain respectfully silent during E. Jean Carroll's defamation trial also got him booted from the courtroom. As a result, King wrote on X, "Trump can't keep his mouth shut, can he? All else aside, not a man you want to trust with national secrets." The writer took aim at the former reality show star's behavior again after Trump learned that he owed Carroll $83.3 million. King wrote on X, "Trump is such a crybaby." The Carrie author didn't specify what Trump did that inspired this tweet, but the former president had recently whined about being a witch hunt victim on Truth Social.